Hey everybody, welcome back to another news roundup. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. With the news roundups, it's now kind of sporadic. Once we get a collection of news, then we'll just do a news roundup. And we've got some news, some primarily a lot of trailers to discuss, but some news also here and there. So we're just gonna cut this short as we usually do, and just jump right on in. So the first bit of news that we're going to discuss is revolving around Deadpool and Wolverine. As seems to have been inevitable, Deadpool and Wolverine has officially collected over $1 billion, becoming profitable. The second film this year to reach that milestone, and most recently becoming the highest grossing R rated film of all time, outpacing Joker, which held that title for a while. Um, the first time set this year, reaching a billion, was also by Disney earlier this summer with Inside Out 2, which is currently right now still the highest grossing film of the year. So I mean, it's great news for that film, but as we've illustrated before, I mean, it's great for those films like Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2. It's good for those movies, primarily for Disney, but not necessarily for the industry when you like put it in perspective of the year as it is, because this is the second film to reach that milestone. There was a time, back in like 2019 where multiple films at a time would just kick ass. Now it's a very selective market, like a very, very selective market. And this year is a perfect illustration of that. I mean, just to put it in perspective, just specifically talking about the summer, by my calculations, only 10 films have done well compared to 16 that have flopped. And as I said, that's just talking about the summer. So that's very telling. So, I mean, as well as this is doing, it's, it's again, just, it's it's an exception, but it's not the example of how this year has been going. So good for Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, it was expected for it to do well. I'm just it's not to say the summer was great though, just because one or two films did really really well. There's still a lot of films out there that missed. Most recently with Borderlands, which did very very poorly. So so it's still a struggling time. But it's good to see some films here and there doing as well as they've done. So, so there you have that. All right, let's transition now into James Cameron, uh, who is coming off the announcing, because they just did D23 not too long ago. He just announced the next Avatar film called Fire and Ash, which that's just a weird title. Um, and also, who gives a fuck about Avatar? Apparently, a lot of people do. I am not one of them, but I just do not understand the love for Avatar at all. No one talks about the Avatar films after they see them, but they make a lot of money for some reason. Um, he had an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, I want to guess. I'm guessing, yeah. And he was suggesting to them that he is working on another Terminator film. And he didn't specify on his involvement of the project, kind of alluding to screenplay, writing, maybe just simply producing. But it seems like another Terminator film is on the way, which is pretty inevitable. Paramount probably wants to keep the license, keep the rights. So gotta keep chugging out films if you want to keep the rights. But man, am I just tired of Terminator. Like, this is the originator of like completely unnecessary franchises. Like how many, like, you can name so many franchises where it's just like, we didn't need another one of those. Terminator as a story exists in two parts. It was Terminator 1 and then Terminator 2. In essence, like, the concept of the Terminator can only be explored through two approaches. You either make him a good guy or you make him a bad guy. And they've already done that. So like the rest of the surrounding noise, like AKA all the other films that came afterwards, like they're just mood points and add nothing to lore really. I've only seen, I want to say like four of the Terminator films. Yeah, I've seen the first two, and then I've seen The most recent two, Genesis, which was not good, and Dark Fate, which was pretty disposable. So, but another Terminator film's on the way. I personally don't care. My guess, honestly, is that they're gonna approach it like Alien Romulus, where they're gonna have a young cast. It's probably gonna be a spin-off. It's likely to include just maybe one legacy character. I doubt Arnold's gonna come back. Um, like that's my best guess. And I'm guessing that I'll be fairly close considering how Alien Romulus is performing. And also, like, James Cameron's had his hand involved in both franchises, and also just, like, the rejuvenation, I guess, if that's even a word, for Alien right now may coincide with Terminator. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stretching with that point, but I frankly just don't care. I just am tired of Terminator. So, yeah. But we're getting another one. It's expected, but you can count me out. So. Alrighty. Well, we got a lot of trailers to discuss for this week. Four, right? Yeah, four trailers to discuss. So we're just going to dive right on in. And we're going to first address a film called The Room Next Door, which is starring Tilda Swinton, Julianne Moore, and John Turturro, and being written and directed by Pedro Almodovar. I think I say his name. Sorry, I just completely butchered his last name. He directed previously Pain and Glory, starring Antonio Banderas. That's me. And Parallel Mothers, which starred Penelope Cruz. And this film has a limited release for December 20th and a wide release next year, January 2025. This is his first fully English-speaking film, and I find that ironic in that there was not a single word that was uttered in the trailer. Kind of funny in that regard, but I gotta say I'm really interested in the design of like the prospect of what it may be. I find it tonally speaking and like the talent involved. I mean, I'm always gonna be interested in Tilda Swinton. I find a real good amount of interest and intrigue with this. Like, there's not much spoken in the trailer or presented, but the mood is, the mood is like already fairly juicy in my opinion. And I think that, like, I mean, it's vague. Like, it gives you an idea of sorts of what things are happening. Tilda Swinton falling ill, Julianne Moore potentially taking care of her. There's like a ghostly presence, like a haunting undertone within it, a certain framing, certain tints. I'm definitely interested. It definitely has won my interest. So I definitely will be looking out for this when it comes out. So yeah, so very, very interested. And probably would be good to see some of his other work. I've been curious to see Pain and Glory because I've heard some good things about that. So, but yeah, definitely interested to see this. This looks very, very interesting. So, all right, let's get into Megalopolis. Now, this trailer is actually very interesting because this had interesting release. It's a trailer that's no longer online. Obviously, other channels have it up, so you can watch it. But this is the official trailer now. We've had other marketing material previously, but now this is the official trailer. And just to give you some insight, if you don't know, the trailer begins with a bunch of quotes from critics. Supposedly slandering, Coppola, saying, "Oh, his previous work is not that great." Basically, trying to present a incredibly ignorant statement of his filmography, how people have like tarnished his work, but then over time, people learn to love his work. So the trailer, yeah, it started off with a bunch of like critic quotes, and it was like, again, he was trying to like represent his filmography as like, oh my gosh, people like came at me, they said things, and they over time my work became very much appreciated. And according to a lot of reputable sources, specifically some sources of which the trailer supposedly quotes, they have come out and said that those quotes are fabricated. They are fake. Um, and that just, um, I mean, well, first off, why the trailer got removed because he's opening himself up to lawsuits, insinuating that these people's words are, truthful, whatever like that, and also without providing consent, without any proof or source to pull from. Yeah, great marketing job, dude. Like, yeah, great, great. Um, it is pulled off online. Lionsgate apparently is taking the fall for it, even though it's clearly Coppola's. I mean, he has to approve the trailer. It's his own money on the table. So, I mean, come on. No, you're not fooling anybody. This is Coppola's. And by design of the, as a piece of marketing, just talking about the trailer itself, it's so self-aggrandizing, so self-indulgent, and so childish that it can't possibly be the work of a specific editor, unless they have like a fetish or something for Coppola. But I'm not speaking hyperbole when I say this. This is a horrible marketing approach and really, really embarrassing. And even worse for what's to come because everybody knows that this is going to bomb. Everybody knows it. I still to this very day don't understand why Lionsgate picked it up. Um, I'm guessing it's because they probably have like some contractual agreements with Coppola, and Coppola he kind of used those agreements to his benefit. That's just my guess because no other distributor wanted it. Lionsgate didn't even want to market the film. Like, it's just shaping to be such a embarrassment, such a whimper in terms of a conclusion for a director's career. Because it feels safe in saying that this is probably his last film. Um, it's just, man, and this trailer is just like icing on the cake. It's just, man. It is so utterly like self-driven. Like just talking about the trailer, and just frankly, like the statement of the trailer, like, oh my gosh, you know, people hated my work or didn't appreciate it, but now over the years, it's like, so what are you trying to say about your film that you're promoting? Like first off, like, yeah, let's just dissect what exactly he is trying to tell his audience. And within his statement, he's telling us that the films that he made as they premiered did not receive great reviews or people didn't seem to appreciate it, but over time people found their way to appreciate it, and then later on became shown as great pieces of work. So what are you telling us about Megalopolis? If I go into Megalopolis, am I just not going to like it at first? And then years down the line, I'll then find a way to appreciate it? So why should I even care to see it in the first place? Like, really? That's just it's stupid. It's fucking stupid, honestly. And again, so self-aggrandizing. It's just all around an embarrassing approach. And the trailer, thank God, is not online because the company would have gotten sued. And yeah, I mean they still can get sued because the trailer's still up on multiple outlets. But yeah, I mean that's just embarrassing. I mean, this whole production, frankly, has just gotten embarrassing. And this trailer kind of is like, kind of in some ways, the epitome of that. So, yeah. So, yeah. We know it's going to be dead on arrival. I mean, this is a $120 million film that nobody wants to market. Nobody, frankly, is interested in seeing, and already has a divisive response. So it's going to suck. And it sucks to be Lionsgate right now just because they're coming off Borderlands and now they're going to be entering Megalopolis. Yeah. Yeah. It's just embarrassing. It's just really, really embarrassing. There's really no better word than that in describing this whole thing. So I'm not interested in seeing it, and I frankly don't know who is. So there you have that. So, all right, let's get into the next trailer now. The next trailer entitled "The Piano Lesson." This stars John David Washington, Samuel Jackson, Ray Fisher, who we've actually discussed in the past, and Corey Hawkins, who was in The Tragedy of Macbeth, which I remember him being good in. Um, Directed by Malcolm Washington, yes, Denzel Washington's kid, so it's a Washington family endeavor. Malcolm Washington is taking on a directorial debut with this, and gonna be premiering on Netflix this year, November 22nd. And majority of the trailer kind of boils down to pretty aesthetics, but I must say though the progression in tone with those aesthetics meeting at the center, I think it actually creates something fairly interesting. It reminds me of another Netflix film entitled His House, which to my memory combines commentary on segregation and racism with spiritual and ghostly elements. And this looks to be doing the same sort of thing. And apparently the cast, at least some of them, have done the play together before making the film, because this is a based on an August Wilson book, or an August Wilson play, similar to the approach of in making Fences, which was also a Washington endeavor, as Denzel directed and starred in that film. Um, so I'm fairly curious. It looks very interesting. It definitely looks interesting. Visually, it seems interesting, and tonally speaking, I think there could be some merit to it. Um, so it'd be interesting to see Samuel L. Jackson also in a more serious role, something much more serious. Um, so I'll be looking out for this one when it comes out, because I'm fairly curious on the prospect of what this could be. So, all right, and the last trailer, which actually came out today, today being Thursday. Let's talk about the Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim. I think that's how you say it. Sorry. Um, Excuse me. I think my mic's been bouncing a little bit. My bad. Um, this is a anime feature being distributed by Warner Brothers and released in theaters, starring voices of Brian Cox, Gaia Wise, and Luke Pasqualino, I think that's how you say his name. Being directed by Kenji Kamayama, I think that's how you say his name. Kenji Kamayama, I think. Um, he's vetted in anime, primarily in television. Did series such as Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and most recently Blade Runner Black Lotus, which I've heard kind of things about. Has a release date for December 13th, so looking to hit the holiday season. And I just don't give a shit. Like, I have never been big on mainstream fantastical like IPs. Like, never got into Lord of the Rings, never got into Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and oddly enough, I actually own all the Harry Potter films. I have the entire collection. Just never been interested in watching those movies though. Um, I doubt many will be interested due to the quality and the presentation of it being an anime. I don't think that general audience members are going to seek this out because of that. Because anime is, by North American audiences, there's just this perception with animes within the North American market that makes for the financial stuff to get to be rather thin. I don't know if they just kind of look shy away from it because they don't see them as good films, or they just see them as like weird foreign animation styles and not fresh, beautiful environments with like loads of depth and meaning. Especially when you get to Miyazaki's films, like just, yeah, like in terms of just animation and and what anime does, I think in some ways it is a superior style compared to other traditional formats like 2D or 3 or other standards, other approaches. But I doubt that the North American market will really show up for it. Maybe it'll get some help from the foreign market, but I just really question why this is being released in theaters. I mean, by design, by overall quality, like it's prime for streaming. I'm just kind of surprised. And as I've illustrated, the chances financially speaking, they're already fairly slim. So I don't know. And the film apparently was made out of necessity. I just looked this up. Apparently, Warner Brothers was about to lose the film rights to Lord of the Rings, so they needed to make something. So making an animated film compared to probably investing another 3 or 4 years into something of a live action medium, it wouldn't take as long, especially if you're doing a basic job, and that's what it looks to me. It looks just very basic, very bland, just very uninteresting, really. So, so I don't think it's gonna do crazy business. Um, I think that it really should have been released on streaming. If you were to ask me, it should have been released on HBO Max. Make it like an exclusive or whatever, because it just has that like as what in watching the trailer, I literally was asking, it's like, is this going to streaming or is this going to theaters? And when I saw it in theaters, I just went, that just doesn't sound right for this kind of film. So, or for this, just for what the film literally is, it just doesn't. It just doesn't feel appropriate. It doesn't feel like it's gonna suit well. So, yeah. So, but we'll see how it performs. I have doubts, big doubts. I really think it should be put on streaming, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I always like to see films do well. So we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Lots of trailers that came out, and some trailers removed, rightfully so. You guys, let me know your thoughts on all these trailers. The Room Next Door, honestly, is the one that I'm the most curious about. That looks really, really good. Let me know all your thoughts, though, on all these trailers, your thoughts on potentially another Terminator film on the way, your thoughts on just the summer season, how financially, how things have gone. Do you guys agree? Do you guys think that it was not a great summer, or do you guys think differently? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.